Good morning, Bravehearts, and good morning, Garfield, New Jersey. Welcome back to Marv in the Morning, episode 25. How to build a strong podcasting team, baby. That's what we're educating on today, baby. So welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. I'm feeling mono-righteous. Ha ha ha, you fool. I was here the entire time. I never left. Takzuki's in the building. Takzuki and Manfredi Gobgovich, the champion of the North, is here. The trickster god himself. How you doing this morning, Takzuki? I'm feeling mono-righteous myself, broski. When you wake up, you put out some good tunes, you can't have a bad day. It's like impossible. It's like scientifically impossible. I'm sure Einstein has like a theorem. He has like a whole formula. Like, why is it? It's impossible to have a bad day when you wake up and you put on some good tunes. What is it? What is Einstein's formula for that? It's like a Einstein-Rosenberg formula, right? Some jazz like that. But yes, ladies and gentlemen, we're back up in here. I'm still recovering from the one chip challenge from Monday because I could still feel a little bit of burning on the inside, bro. I think I got some internal damages that I may have to go to the doctor to get checked out because, oh my goodness, what was I thinking? But yeah, baby, I'm back up in here and I'm going to have a great episode today. Today's topic is how to build a strong podcasting team. Build a strong team. You must believe in the dream. That's the main one. Hey. But yes, time sets will be in the description. You can definitely skip ahead if you're watching Pose Live. You can skip ahead and go to the meat and potatoes of this episode. We got David in the building on the chip. Let's go. Never again. I'm never doing that again. I don't even recommend it to people. I'm not even recommending that to people. I don't regret doing it. I don't regret it because it was an experience. It was an experience. But I am never doing that again. Eat more ice cream to restore your humanity. Yeah, it's pretty much true. You know, ice cream did restore my humanity that day. That's a fact. And then the memes, if you check out my Instagram, Big Daddy Alucard made a ton of memes. And he got me there with the Wolf of Wall Street pounding on the chest thing. He put me there in a bar by myself, and it says when your date doesn't show up, and I'm like, hey man, go a little easy on me. I almost lost my life that day. But no, in actuality, keep them coming. It's good content. It's good content doing the chip challenge thing. The chip challenge jazz was definitely some good content, but I'll probably never do that again. I'll never do that again. But indeed, if it's your first time watching, make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you give the video a thumbs up. Make sure you hit that notification bell hit that notification bell. Stay up to date. Stay tuned. Get notified when we go live and all that jazz, right? Stay tuned. I mean, we spitting facts out here. We're spitting facts. We got the Discord link below. If you want to spit podcasts, if you want to submit podcasts for me to listen to and review here on Marv in the Morning, you can, throw them in that link, throw them in the Discord. You can also chop it up with me all day. I'll give you the brass tacks on what I believe to be the core essentials of creating a great podcast. We got Big Daddy Alucard in the building. You said another chip? I'll get you I'll get you the 2023 chip. I am good. Jake Adolski was showing me the bunch of wrestlers, grown men, buff, really the gladiators of our time, eating the chip and just suffering, crying. Grown men, made of cinder block, molded by Zeus himself. These guys were in tears, in tears, and I'm looking at myself like Jesus. Yeah, man. Yeah, it was rough. That was a rough one. I'll never do that again. Never. You couldn't pay me. You couldn't even pay me to do that. Maybe I had like a million subs. I'll tell you what, if I get 1 million subs on this channel, I will do the 2023 chip challenge. How about that, right? But of course, we have our event on October 22nd. The ladies of Bravery are going to be hosting a night of live podcasting with vendors, good music, artists, all that jazz. So we got Vibe Jones in the building. Hey, yo, Vibe, we gotta chop it up because I'm having an event soon. I want to know if you're available for performing that night. So I'm happy to see you here. We also got Brian Green in the building. Brian's getting married soon. I'm proud of my bro. He's part of the Bravery podcasting family. The man is tying the knot. Where does the line "tying the knot" come from? Like, who invented that? Like, does that mean like you are like on a chain gang with your wife? Somebody Google, where does tying the knot come from? We got Jason Enrique in the building as well. He said the team stays strong. He's got emojis of muscles. Um, Both of them are left arm muscles, right? Oh no, those are right ones. Okay, I'm glad I figured that out. Need that link for the Eventbrite. Eventbrite's coming today. That's it. After this one, I'm gonna get that Eventbrite done. Been a mondo busy week. I think that one chip challenge on Monday sort of had like a domino effect. It kind of like everything that I planned to do on Monday, I didn't do because I needed to recover. I was in recovery. So the one chip challenge definitely threw off my entire week. Threw it off. It said, "Hey, you got plans for today? Psych." That's the wrong number, right? That's what the one chip challenge is. That the super hot fire freestyle guy. He's not a rapper, and it's not a potato chip. That's the only way I can metaphorically explain what happened to me that day. I actually I rewatched the video for the first time on Monday, and yo, Jason, when you said 5 minutes, man, you ruined me, bro. You ruined my life. Marv went MIA for one chip. Yeah, I couldn't even stream that. I did go for ramen that night though. I went for ramen. We went to Ani Ramen. Me and the Wolf Pack, Jake Kadowski, Matt, Will. We went for ramen, and yeah, I love my bros, man. Going out with these guys on adventures. Shout out to the Wolf Pack, man. The Wolf Pack is strong, and that's what we're gonna be talking about today. You know what I'm saying? Having a strong team, because listen, I produce a lot of podcasts. Most podcasts are from like 3 to 4 people, the majority of them. Some of them are just a duel, some of them are solo, but the majority of them are either 3 or 4 people on a squad, right? So David has watched it 3 times. You watched it 3 times? Damn. Boom bam bop, booty booty bam bam bop pow. Yeah. So building a strong team is vital. It's vital, since your podcasting goals may be what's the word I want to say? It may be a task for multiple people. You know what I mean? To achieve what you're trying to achieve in podcasting, you may need to banter with someone. You may need someone to assist you in the monotonousness. Actually, is monotonousness not even a word? In the monotony of the podcast work that goes with having, the podcast, the sides that you must have every week: the promotion, the marketing, the graphic design, the all that jazz. Having a squad is important. There's people who pull it off on their own. There's people who don't. Let me look at the chat real quick, because it's going bonkers right now. Yo, the meaning "tying the knot" comes from a symbol of unity. It's crazy. I don't think of knots when I think of unity. I think of knots when it's like you're being yo. But that's not the point today. Yo, I said 3 minutes. I figured you would get water at that time, but you only filled your glass. I was trying to make it 5 minutes. Yo, if Jason Enrique says I got to make it to 5 minutes, I have to make it to 5 minutes. I kind of look up to the guy. So if he says, "Marv, you got to do 5 minuties," I did 5 minuties. I did what was asked of me. Thank God Jason didn't say 10 minuties, because I definitely wouldn't have made it. I would have been on the floor. But you got to do what you got to do for your bro. And thank God he didn't ask for too much. I mean, 5 minutes was a lot. 5 minuties was definitely a lot, but thank God he could have asked for more. He could have asked for more, and I probably would have had to pull it off. But if you watch the video, I'm watching my eyes on that clock the whole time. My eyes on the clock the whole time. And I'm like thinking, okay, I got to make it to 5. But let me get everything ready because I didn't even have the glass poured up or nothing. So I start pouring up the glass around like 3 minutos. I'm taking off the cap of the soda, and all that jazz. So once it hit 5, I was like, I'm there. Boom. Forget the straw and all that jazz, right? Forget the straw. Yo, I watched it twice, but it was for content creation, not just seeing you suffer. I'm not like Dave. Yeah, Dave's cool, man. He's watching me suffer over here. I have the content published on Discord for proof. He does. If you if you join the Bravery Arcade Discord, there's a lot of memes up there. I might throw them over to the Bravery Studios Discord as well. Which reminds me, I have the link in the description below for anybody that wants to join there and submit podcasts for that. But enough about the one chip challenge, man, because that's a whole nother jazz. Today we're talking about building strong teams, a strong podcast team, and of course, like any team, any joint venture, this is gonna apply for more than just podcasting. Of course, this is gonna apply for more than just podcasting. It's kind of applies for any team exercising, right? Any having a team in any venture. But let's get to the meat and potatoes. Actually, no, let's not get to the meat and potatoes. I got to do a shout out. The daily shout out today goes to my bro Osei. Osei, of course, I interviewed him. I'm live from Bravery Studios, episode 2, a couple weeks ago, that released in the audio only form. He's doing a great mural over here, a very Keith Haring inspired mural in the on the walls here in Bravery Studios. I saw that recently. He was in a hospital. I called him yesterday. He told me he's going through some jazz, and I'm there with you, brother. I'm there. You're in my thoughts. I hope you get better, bro. And I want to send a shout out to you, bro, because you deserve it. Yo, I've been rocking and rolling with Osei since like 2019. In the heat of the panini, this man knocked on my door, and that was around the era where you could not open your door for strangers, where you should not open your door for strangers. I somewhat opened my door for a stranger and let him into my space, and I fell in love with the guy. Like, he told me he was an artist. He does shirts, he does shoes. He's into the same jazz that I'm into. He's into wrestling, video games, fighting games, all that jazz. So we hit it off, like knocking on my door, and we hung out for probably 4 or 5 hours straight from that point, nonstop convoing. And yeah, man, like I was like, this is instantly, love at first sight. There's a new term that I'm gonna create, bro at first sight. There's some people you meet who are bros at first sight, and Osei is definitely my bro. Definitely have too much love for that guy. It's actually disgusting the amount of love I have for that guy. And I hope you get well soon, bro. And I hope you're back over here at Bravery soon. Like I said, you're in my thoughts a lot. And we're gonna rock and roll. We're gonna party when you get out of there, bro. I'm taking you to Ani Ramen. You're coming with the wolf pack to Ani Ramen, bro. You're pretty much, you're like the red man. If the wolf pack is the Wu-Tang Clan, then you're definitely red man, bro. You're like wolf pack adjacent. You might even be considered for membership soon. I might have to induct you into the wolf pack soon, bro, because you spend so much time here at Bravery, and you bring good energy in here, man. You bring good energy in here. We were having debates while watching. We were watching what's that show called? Atlanta. We were watching Atlanta, and we were having little debates because Atlanta's a show that makes you think. Atlanta's definitely a show that makes you think, and we were there thinking out loud and all that jazz. And I cherish those moments. I cherish having friends that you can have intelligent conversations with, along with just like having fun with them. A lot of people have drinking buddies, but not a lot of people have thinking buddies. People that you can chop it up with your thoughts with, and that's more important than drinking buddies. But if it's a combination of both, it's even better. It's a combination of both and even better, for real. But shout out to Osei. Love that guy. Get well soon. As soon as you get out of the hospital, bro, we're gonna hang out. We're gonna go for ramen. Have a night in town. Wolfpack night out again. And yeah, man, I'm with you. I'm with you, bro. I'm with you. Shout out to Scarlett, just entered the chat. She said, good energy is important for Rizzo. Oh, yeah, for Rizzo, my nizzle. Yeah, it's definitely important to have good energy. I spoke a couple of weeks back about how I believe words carry positive and negative charges. I think it was Sir Isaac Newton. For every action, there's a positive and negative reaction, right? And I think words have that same effect. Words carry kinetic energy as well. So when you're with someone who's expelling positive energy through words verbally, you absorb it orally and listen, I'm going in a whole magical place, but you know what I'm saying, pretty much, guys. You know what I'm saying. But let's get to the meat and potatoes, guys. Let's get to the meat and potatoes. Okay. How to build a strong podcast team. A strong team is vital. A strong team is vital. And I think the first thing that you should think about when building your team is, what are your strengths internally and what are your weaknesses? Because the people that you want to have around you are going to kind of take reins on things that you're not that strong with. Okay. I know for me personally, I'm not good with paperwork. I'm not good with text. I'm not good with the formalities and the bureaucracy of everything, right? So I always try to align myself with someone that is good at those things. I'm a podcast producer. I guess I would align myself with someone who does podcast marketing, or I would align myself with someone who takes over my weaknesses for my weaknesses, who makes up for my weaknesses. That's the most vital part, I think, because no one is perfect on any team. Even as a leader, the best thing you can do as a leader is identify your weaknesses and find someone who can, cover those spaces where you cannot. So absolutely, positively, find individuals who are the strengths to your weaknesses. Very major. The next thing I would say is, as a leader of a podcast, if you are the head honcho, if this is your dream, if you came up with the name, the title, the graphics, and you're building the team, understand and do not be disappointed by the fact that you will be doing the majority of the work. You will be doing the majority of the work. You cannot complain and say, well, I'm doing almost everything. I'm like, carrying the heaviest load. You're the leader. You are Ahab. You know what I'm saying? If your goal is to get that great white whale or shark, whatever Moby was, then you can understand that this is your dream and your vision and your passion, and you're always going to be more dedicated to the dream than everyone else. And you need to understand that. Like, I get a lot of leaders, podcast leaders, that say, man, I feel like my team only does incremental amount of work and I am carrying the heaviest load. That is your job to do. That is your place to do. Me, as the owner of Bravery Studios, I have a great team. I have Scooter, Steve. We got British Joe now working with us. And let me tell you, they kick ass in here. But make no mistake, I will never be confused about who's doing the majority of the work in here, because I'm the boss. I am the leader. I lead by example as well. If I want my team to do something, I would never ask them to do something I would not want to do myself, or I could not do myself, right? Even with things that I'm not that strong with, even in my weaknesses, I will attempt to do something, even if I am not as successful as someone else who would be in that place. But if I'm asking someone else to do it, you better believe that I'm going to be first gun ho. There's a difference between a leader and a boss. A boss is in the background and pointing and commanding, right? Where a leader is in the front carrying the load before you, right? So understand that as a leader of a podcast, this is your dream, your vision. You came up with everything and you gathered the team. You will be doing the bulk of the work. That's just this is just how it is. Maybe you have a great team already. Maybe you build a foundation where everyone's carrying an equal amount. But if it's your passion project, trust me, the majority of the time you will be doing the majority of the work. The majority of the time. So be a leader. Understand that the what comes with that. Understand what comes with being a leader. And lead by example. Delegate roles. Delegating the roles of a podcast it'll help alleviate some of that stress of maybe feeling like you have that heavier load, even though you always will have it. But delegate roles. Like a lot of podcast teams are built off of childhood friends or people who hang out together a lot and say, hey, We should do a podcast together. Of course, the first people you're going to decide to have on your team are the people that you're surrounding yourself with the majority of the time. The people you have great conversations with and all that jazz, right? So understand that if you have a team of 4, now we've already said that we've identified your weaknesses. Identify the weaknesses in your team and see who's good at what. Who has strengths in areas more than the rest of the team. So if this guy is good at promoting on social media, if this guy's good at editing and making clips and highlights, so now this guy's doing the clips and the highlights. This guy's passing it on to the guy who's good at social media managing. And just say the other guy is there for what is another task? The uploading process, the logistics of a podcast, just the logistics of it. One person is also the administrator creating the paperwork. Like, hey, we're trying to get guests on the show, right? We're trying to get a lot of guests over here. So the administrator is going to go and create the forms, the release forms and everything needed to go out and get these guests. Like, delegate the work based on individual strengths. That's vital. Delegate the work based on individual strengths. Once again, I still totally believe that as a leader, you will be taking the bulk of it, because everything that all these people are doing, you most likely will need to review. Because if this is not their passion, maybe it can be at some point, maybe it is already. As a leader, you're still the one with the final say, final know-how, final decisions to make. Now, the next thing I would say is be assertive. Be assertive with your goals. Be very, very assertive. One thing that will happen when you have a kind of weak leader is you probably will have a mutiny on your hands. You probably will not be able to get your team motivated and get them to do the task needed of them if you're not an assertive leader. A lot of teams building, a lot of what goes behind building a strong team is having a strong leader, someone who can motivate, someone who's not afraid to say thank you, someone who's not afraid to ask for help. Being a leader doesn't mean you're never wrong. It doesn't mean you're never wrong. It means accepting that you are wrong sometimes and being willing to explain to your team that we're going to do better next time. And reward them, when they do something right. Reward your team. Say to them, hey, listen, you kicked ass the other day. Like, that was awesome what you did. We haven't even gotten to the part of actually filming the podcast and the synergy that's needed in that room while you're recording this podcast. We're just talking about the tasks, right? So, tell them when they're doing a good job. Like, say, I appreciate everything you do for this team. Be appreciative of them. Be appreciative of everything they do, because just fathom without it. Well, you already have a lot of tasks in your hands as a leader, so fathom without them the amount of tasks you would have, right? Just fathom without it. Now, what happens when you have a kink in that chain? When you have a member of the team who's not doing their part, who isn't being motivated, who just doesn't believe in the vision. Listen, if you can't get someone to believe in your vision, or maybe they just won't, and maybe they just don't care, maybe you need to decide, like, hey, this guy, maybe he doesn't belong on this team. This guy is definitely not pulling his weight. He's not going to carry that weight like the Beatles, right? So, yeah, like, maybe you need to be able to accept that not everyone is going to follow you, no matter how good of a leader you are. No matter how good of a leader you are, not everyone's going to follow. And if you nip that in the bud earlier than later, it'll be a lot easier to rip that Band-Aid. Let's look at the check-in real quick. I'm sounding like Mina right now saying, look at the check-in. I just look at the chat. Yo, you pointed out something really good. You won't ask something to do something you wouldn't do. And many people want their team to work more or as much as them. The issue is it's not their business. Exactly. Bingo. Bingo bongo. Remember, you're the most passionate one about this. You created this business. You need to do the bulk of the work. You need to make you believe by example. Okay, Takzuki says a true hero can't expect their companions to do all the work. Bingo bongo. Also, we got DJ Derek in the chat. Yo, I'm in Disney World checking in Strong teams are necessity in podcasting. I tell you that story one day. Yes, absolutely. I know Derek knows firsthand. Yo, Derek, when you come back from Disney, we got to chop it up because I want to interview you on live from Bravery Studios. So let me know when you're back from Disney, brother. And I hope you're having a time of your life out there. I heard they sell shirts at Disney World that says oh man, having the worst day of my life. Like, cause apparently Disney World, which I just found out from the 973 Vibes podcast, Disney World is really brutal on dads. Like, it is very brutal on dads. I did not know that was a thing until recently. One of my podcasters went. So yeah, Derek, let me know how it is out there. I heard it's a time of your life, but it also is very brutal for fathers to be there. And they sell shirts and merch that says that. Like, let me know how that goes. But yeah, getting back to it, make sure a teammate is worth it. Make sure a teammate is worth having on the team. Because one kink in the chain you pull long enough, it'll break the chain, right? So make sure a teammate is worth it. And there's no harm, no foul. There doesn't need to be an ugly exit from the team. You know, you want to explain to them early on, like, hey, you know, you could do a little bit more. I would appreciate it if you would. If you could possibly be cordial about it and not put emotion behind it, because it is probably frustrating to have someone not pulling their weight on a team. But you need to approach it with a little bit of delicacy and discretion, because you don't want to make it a whole scene and make it a whole argument, and then it's an ugly breakup, right? With any breakup, you don't want to make it ugly. And you know, this guy's already a podcast. He may go on another podcast and bad talk you, right? As a good leader, you need to hand things logically and not necessarily so emotionally. So yeah, nipping a weaker teammate out of the team is very, very important to do early. Next thing I'll say is cover for the future. Plan in advance for what happens when this podcast is successful. If you want to see a total 180 of personality, then be successful. Be successful with your team, because, and this you can watch any movie with a rock band to see this. Money will change the team. Money will change the dynamic. Money will change people in general, personalities. But prepare for the future. You know, you may not want to have paperwork and all that jazz lined up immediately, because, hey, you know, we're just getting started. We're of humble beginnings, but at least have the conversations in advance. What happens when this podcast is successful? What happens when it begins to generate income? What happens when we have to produce more content or collaborate with other podcasters, or have those conversations early? Let it be known what's the plan going forward. I know with my team, when we had the Villainy Games podcast, we never had those sort of conversations. We never had the conversations of what happens when success comes. And we never really crossed that threshold of what I would consider to be success in podcasting, you know. But for the most part, those are conversations I wish I had. Because in the event of, you know, you don't want there to be like, oh, wait, why is he getting this certain percentage or I'm getting this one? Podcasting is a business. It is work. Like I've said many episode. So the best thing you can do when having business partners is to have these conversations sooner than later. Cover for the future. Cover for it. Next thing I would say, think of the dynamic at the table or at the couch or wherever you are podcasting. Think of the dynamic at that table. Think of the personalities. Think of the chemistry. This is the first step that I've even mentioned, the actual production of the podcast, right? If there's someone at that table who doesn't, you know, homogenize with the rest of the team, if the chemistry is not there, if it's not a camaraderie and a bond building experience for this particular person on the team, then it may be also someone you want to let go, just because. Why would you want someone on your team that you don't bond with, that you don't build a camaraderie with? That person is probably less likely to follow your lead if there's not a bond built between them. There's not a brotherhood, a fraternity of podcasters, right? So think of the table dynamic. You know, this has to be something that everyone on this team is is well balanced and the chemistry is there. Chemistry is definitely key. Think of the chemistry. Make sure everyone at that table bonds and is conversating. Because let's say you can't make it one episode. Let's say you can't make it, right? Oh, I can't make it to the studio today. It's on you guys to hold it down for me. Now you have two teammates on the show that don't homogenize. They do not click. They do not cahoot. There's no camaraderie there. No camaraderie. They can't do a show. They can't do it. They can't. It would be nothing. These guys would be talking to themselves. If you ever seen the movie Miami Vice with Jamie Foxx and Colin Farrell, it'll be like the movie Miami Vice with Jamie Foxx and Colin Farrell. These guys do not speak to each other that entire movie because they have zero chemistry. These guys do not speak to each other the entire movie. They barely look into each other's eyes that entire movie. Go watch Miami Vice, the remake, not the original TV show with Jamie Foxx and I'm focused on being a guest at the moment so I can get my persona down, slow my speech, talk clear. I hear you, brother. And it's good to focus on it, but most certainly let yourself develop. As you do this, you will get better. Like with anything, you want to get good at something, you do it every day. If you do it every day, how are you not going to get good at it, right? So yeah, man, take it slow and, just let it develop over time. It'll come naturally. Let it come organically to you. But yes, think of the team chemistry. Think of the dynamic. Think of what happens the day you can't make it to the studio or you can't make it to the podcast. What happens with these two individuals who do not homogenize? What happens at that point? Think of it like that. So, absolutely, final thing I will say of building a strong team is that make sure this is fun. Make sure you're having fun with the team. Just think of like even jobs where like they have to do employee parties from time to time just to keep the morality up. If this isn't fun, man, it doesn't matter how successful you intend on being. If you're not having fun with your team, if it just isn't a pleasant experience to record this podcast as a team, then the team will fall apart over time. It will fall apart over time. Above everything else, podcasting should be fun. It's a creative adventure. If it's not Avatar The Last Airbender and it's Avatar The Last Movie Airbender, then it's not going to be, you're going to have a bad time. You're going to have a bad time. So make sure you're having fun with your team. Make sure you guys are bonding outside of the podcast room. Make sure you guys are going out for pizza together, a couple beers or whatever the jazz, because this has to be a fun thing. I don't believe podcasting has to be all work. I do say it is like a business. It is work. It is a lot of mondo amount of work, but make sure you're having fun with it. Absolutely have fun with it. Or else what's the point, man? What's the point? Looking at the chat, Rob Noxious has a lot to say here. Slow my speech, clear speak. My problem is in real life, I'm loudmouth, fast talking, too abrasive. Does it help if you hosted Fear Factor prior? In Joe Rogan's situation, I guess so. But look at what Joe Rogan does. Look what Joe Rogan's whole motif is. He keeps it simple. Look at Joe Rogan's production and look at who Joe Rogan was speaking to in the beginning. Joe Rogan started that podcast, and he still kind of does, with a very modest and humble production. And he brought on a lot of his friends first to his podcast. Joe Rogan's podcast grew through friendships and connections. Go back 5 years ago and look at the guests. Look at the guests that he brought on there. Most of those people were already his friends. Most of them were people he already had built a camaraderie with. He doesn't have a team per se. I mean, besides, I think Jamie is the name of his producer. But yeah, look who we brought on first. And I don't think being abrasive and a loudmouth is a bad thing if that's what you're going for. If you're gonna be yourself on the podcast, Rob Noxious, be yourself on the pod, bro. Like this is me, man. Like, cut me, I bleed. I am Marv. I am what you see, bro. I may have more of a trucker mouth outside of this live stream, but absolutely what you see is what you get here in front of you, bro. Even if I speak in my own oddities and lingo. Sometimes I wonder if anyone can even break apart, my vernacular, man, and even decipher it. I feel like years from now, aliens are gonna come to Earth and rewatch my podcast and be like, "What the jazz was this guy talking about?" But yeah, man. Have fun with the team. That's my final thing. Make sure the team is having fun. Do some team building activities. Go for a Korean barbecue, which I still have not experienced Korean barbecue in an actual Korean barbecue location. We did Korean barbecue here in Bravery one time with Scarlett. Shout out to Scarlett. That was the best night of my life. But me and the Wolfpack got to hit a Korean barbecue spot. Maybe when Osei gets back out here. Podcasting is like playing D&D. You got to have a good party. You got to have fun with it. Bingo bongo, man. Bingo bongo. Yo, he's just a replacement for Alex Jones. Who, Rogan? Is a replacement for Alex Jones? I guess. I don't know. Alex Jones is a funny guy. I don't watch Alex Jones for grammatic accuracies. I just think, holy jazz, is this guy entertaining? But I don't believe a word that comes out of his mouth. And Joe Rogan was ahead of the curve. Like, look when he started. Look when he, like, 2011. Go look back at his first episode. There's like snowflakes falling and like weird overlays and giant faces on the screen. I think his face like covers the entire, him and one other guy. I don't know who the other guy was with him. But fun is important. Yeah. You got to start somewhere, Rob Noxious. And you already have a cool name like Rob Noxious. I would just call it the Rob Noxious Podcast because that name is awesome. Mondo Wright's name right there, Rob Noxious. But yeah, guys, that's today. That's the moral of the story. Fun is important. Make sure you and the team are having fun. And that builds a strong team. Yeah, he got in there at the right time. He definitely got in at the right time. He got in early. Took him 10 years to become successful at it. So pace yourself. It's a long ride, but pace yourself. I think that's what I was speaking about yesterday. Pace yourself. But yes, of course. The meat and potatoes, to go over it again. Be an assertive leader. Delegate roles. Make sure each teammate is worth it. Worth their grain of salt on the team. Have conversations about the future. And have fun. Have fun. Think of the chemistry. But yeah, Bravehearts. Good episode. Good time. Shout out to Rob Noxious. I think his name is Mondo Obnoxious. Mondo Rob Noxious. I think I'm going to start saying that word. It's a pretty cool word. But yeah, so we'll be back, Manana. Tomorrow is Ask Marv Anything Thursday. AMA Thursday. And I'm going to put together some rando topics to fill up the gaps, some filler topics. Maybe we'll speak about anime tomorrow. I'm looking at the Sailor Moon shirt on my wall, and maybe tomorrow's the episode where I'm gonna go into a lot of anime. Thanks a lot. No, Rob Noxious, thank you, brother. You could have been anywhere in the world, Rob Noxious, but you're here with me. Mondo appreciate that, brother. Mondo appreciate that, and that goes for all of you guys watching and listening. You guys could have been anywhere in the world, and you're here with me, and I appreciate that. So my Bravehearts, shout out to Scarlett, shout out to Rob Noxious, shout out to Takzuki, shout out to Davilis, shout out to Vibe Jones. Great seeing her here. Shout out to Davilis, shout out to Derek, shout out to Big Daddy Alucard, the bearer of the forbidden chip. And Bravehearts, make sure you keep on keeping on. I'm out of here.